lay missioners. And I want to thank your pastor, Father Knoll, and Father Leonard, and the consultants this morning for the opportunity to share a bit about the mission works and journey of Maryknoll lay missioners. Today we celebrate the Feast of the Most Holy Trinity, and we hear in the readings of the abundance of love that God has for us, and the many, many things that God does for us. And we know that this mystery of faith, the Trinity, the three in one, it's a mystery. And really God is so great and so beyond us that it's hard to conceive of that. And so we live with the mystery. But I think one of the messages that's so important in that sense of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit coming together is it's a model for us as a human community, as a faith community, to come together, to serve one another, to be present for one another, to live in peace as a world community. And that leads me into my message this morning, mission. When you think of the word mission or missionary, what are the images or thoughts that come to your mind? Let's think for just a second. If anybody would like to share their thoughts, please do so. Yesterday afternoon, some folks said crossing borders, serving others, learning another language, and that's all a part of it. But when you really think about it, every one of us in this church this morning, baptized Catholics, are called to mission, are called to be missionaries. Because mission takes place here in our home parish, in our home community, and in the fields afar. Mission is the proclamation of the good news of Jesus Christ in all that we do and in everything that we do, whether here or in the fields afar. And those of us that are privileged to go to the fields afar need the support of our sending church, of our community here in the United States, in order to do it, both in prayer and in other support. And that's the call that my wife Cecilia and I heard in 1985 while living and working in Phoenix, Arizona. So we joined Maryknoll Missioners, went to Maryknoll, New York for our formation, along with our 3 small children. And then we were sent on mission to a village in southern Chile called Nidibilo. Now, when we arrived in Nidibilo, we arrived there to work with 2 Maryknoll priests to attend to the pastoral needs of 26 rural communities. And the priests had only been there for a while, so they were still grappling with how to use their talents and time for the needs of the folks. So what we decided to do was to go out to different communities every 2 weeks, spend 3 days visiting all of the homes, sharing a cup of tea with them in their home, and gathering in their chapel in the evening for prayer. The idea was to leave a committee in each community that would gather the people on Sunday for the liturgy of the Word and really be church to one another in that area. The priests could only get out for Mass about once a month, so it was very important that they assumed their responsibility. And after these, what we call mini missions, we knew the folks. And I just shared one of the ministries that I was involved in social and sustainable development. One of the communities up in the hills, about 60 families, no one had a latrine. You can imagine what that meant for the prevention of illness. So what we did was, through Caritas Chile, obtain the materials to build the latrines with the folks, and then develop a health education and illness prevention program. My wife Cecilia has a background in liturgy. She's also an occupational therapist. So she worked in leadership development, especially in the liturgical development in each community and forming leaders. Eventually, we were asked to move into the Diocesan See of Leonidas, and there we worked with Bishop Don Carlos Campos for many years, me as Director of Catholic Social Services. Cecilia continued her work in formation, but she also attended to the needs of young people who had suffered trauma through their parents either being detained or in prison or even in some cases killed during a very difficult time in Chilean history. This afternoon or this morning, when you leave Mass, you're going to receive this little bulletin inside your parish bulletin. If it's not there, please ask us for one. It tells the story of Maryknoll lay missioners. And I would ask maybe before continuing with this thought, how many of you know Maryknoll? How many of you have heard of Maryknoll? Can you raise your hands? Fantastic. Well, as you know, Maryknoll was formed about 102 years ago as the Catholic Foreign Mission Society of America. It was formed in a time when the Vatican was saying it's time that the U.S. become a mission-sending church, and before that we were a mission-receiving church. As an immigrant people, as an immigrant church at that time, our needs were great, and we had received missionaries. But now it was the time for us to send missionaries overseas. So we've been celebrating the centennial of Maryknoll's founding for the last couple of years. But the Maryknoll fathers and brothers, the Maryknoll sisters, after the Second Vatican Council, invited the laity to be a part of their mission. So in 1975, they formed the Maryknoll Lay Missioners. The program was established, and lay people were invited to go to mission for a minimum commitment of 3.5 years. And as time has gone, many have renewed, many have returned to the States to carry out their mission here, and over 700 U.S. Catholic laity have gone to mission with Maryknoll in 29 countries of Africa, Asia, and Latin America. So again, if you take this bulletin home, you can go into our website, you'll see the information, all of our contact information, and see the stories of our many missions around the world. And if you want more information, please be in contact with us. Please let me share one more example of our mission around the world. Dr. Susan Nagley, who comes from Urbana, Illinois, graduate of the University of Illinois Medical School, came to us right after graduation, after receiving her degree as a doctor, and went to East Africa. And there she has been for 29 years. Susan currently ministers in Mombasa, Kenya, but for 12 years she headed up the medical team in Nimole in southern Sudan. Along with another Maryknoll missionary, nurse practitioner, Marge Humphrey, they attended to the medical needs of 40,000 refugees. Now, we've all heard of Sudan, correct? All the trials and tribulations. So you can imagine how important their medical service was and under what conditions they provided that medical service. But Marge and Susan weren't there just to attend to the much-needed medical needs of the folks. They were there as women of faith to share their faith in the risen Christ. And that's the story of all Maryknoll missioners around the world. We provide service, but we provide and share our faith as well with the local community. I also want to add a little bit about Susan. Susan last year, great honor for her, great honor for us as an organization, received the Medal of Valor from the American Medical Association, their highest honor. It's not something they give every year. They only give it when someone is nominated that really deserves it. So it was quite an award for all of us, that great honor for Susan. This new effort of calling laity forth to mission is a challenge. For many years, the Maryknoll fathers and brothers and the Maryknoll sisters have supported us financially, but we are now responsible for our own fundraising and our own future. And we rely on the U.S. Catholic community to support us in this effort. Our greatest challenge is to raise the funds needed to keep missioners like Susan in the field and to invite new folks to join us. And we have 12 new candidates who will join our orientation this fall and be sent to 6 countries in Latin America, Africa, and Asia. Today at Mass, there will be a second collection after the first collection, immediately. And this collection will go to help us in sustaining these missioners in the field and inviting others. I encourage you to be as generous as possible, and I thank you for your financial generosity, and ask you please to keep our missioners in your prayers. We at Maryknoll passionately believe that our lay mission organization is important for the universal mission of the Church today, but crucial in the years to come. We are called to work with our priests and religious in that mission universally. But we need again the support of the entire U.S. Catholic community in order to carry that out. I will be available after Mass if you have any questions, if you would like any more information. If you'd be interested in finding out how to become a Maryknoll missionary. My wife, Cecilia, stand up please. She will also be out there, and Cecilia coordinates for us a very interesting program called Friends Across Borders. These are immersion trips to all of our mission sites where you can see another culture of the world through the lens and the experience of Maryknoll missioners. So we invite you to consider that as well. Whether it is Lisa Perry, caring for a child who was HIV positive and often orphaned by AIDS in Cambodia, or Jason Overfeld, a young engineer from Indiana, helping to organize rural farmers in the high plains of Bolivia to obtain clean water, Maryknoll missioners And we ask God to bless you, your family, and your parish community. And in my language of mission, que el Señor de la vida los bendiga a ustedes y a sus familias, hoy y para siempre. Muchísimas gracias. Thank you very much.